Alright, yins guys, to make a long story short, about maybe 7 years ago, it's going to be 7 years ago by now, me and my girlfriend first get together when we were first dating, and then maybe, I don't know, like, eventually a year later, we were moving in with each other, like, or something like that. But when I was first going over our place, people used to leave food items like boxes of cereal on the table in the building. Actually, it was her building, the building we used to live in before we moved about 5 months ago. So me and her were going together like, a long time already. Now I'm in this neighborhood. But yeah, this is kind of a story, a weird story, how I ended up involved in charities and all that up in public charity because she got me into it. She couldn't go outside and do it anymore because of her health. But anyway, we were first going together. And this story here, before I get to the point, I know I need to get to the point, but this is how I'm making my case. If any of you guys have a similar situation like this, help some of you guys out here. This is how my combination of doing things extra good and a mixture of because I care and because I want it to look good on a resume someday is a good reputation, because you don't want, God forbid you go the other way, and it can ruin your chance of getting job enhanced. I go an extra step. By going an extra step, it's also insurance and all that, but anyway, it's the story about how it's a mixture of doing things because you want to do it well and revenge at the same time, and blocking your enemies and haters, both black and white, especially in a town where if a particular hater, if you get smart with them any kind of way when they get nasty of you with something, turn the whole neighborhood against you, and you can be in a world of shit if you're all of a sudden appear racist and all that. So you act nice, and then you have friends of color. You know, your haters will try to drive a wedge between you and them, and it's never over if you get smart with them. But anyway, okay, on with the story. Is like one of the first things I noticed, though, me and a girlfriend were first going together before we moved in together. I used to be going over there, and like for the local, there'd be stuff from a local food bank that I guess they'd take from their boxes and then leave it on a counter, and somebody wants it can take it. And I used to take it up to her apartment. I used to say to some people sitting there, "Hey, what's this about? I'm not going to go to waste." And they said, "Go ahead and take it," right? And then say I was eventually going to be moving in together and all that, but there was some other troublemaker. You get these people that give you dirty looks. Oh, but no, only white people do it, and only white people are racist. But then you got friends that are black, right? So you always get that one in the workplace that you have to don't get smart with, by the way. So, anyway, this other woman comes. Other people said, "Oh, that's what people leave. I go and take it. Somebody will throw it in the garbage if you don't take it." So, over a box of cereal, this other woman, all of a sudden, I guess somebody told her or whatever, and she comes over out of nowhere that I'm some effing white person that's on crack, and from outside that building taking cereal or stuff that's over there. I wasn't even taking it out of the building, taking it to her place, but later on there'd be a thing a couple years fast forward, I'd encourage certain people around the neighborhood, "Hey, anybody wants this, they're going to throw it in the garbage. I don't care, I can't do it all. I'm like that. Don't want to see things go to waste." But for no damn reason, I think just looking for a reason, no reason at all, yelling that I'm on crack and she's going to beat my girlfriend's ass and all that stuff like that. Oh, she'd be allowed to be a black woman and threaten my girlfriend to beat her ass and all that stuff and yell and say I'm on crack over cereal. But there was a couple other people that were several years later, we were friends, and still like that, and they don't even agree with that stuff. They were waving their hand at about it or whatever, or don't pay any attention to her. But then took me 4 minutes to explain this. And okay, so she was actually, my girlfriend used to be in a uniform for a while, the charity and all of that. She was a soldier of Salvation Army before her health kept her from being able to participate, so she got me involved in it. And I know that this, to make a long story short, these kind of people that say crap like that, you know, they were still trying to spread rumors. And they didn't like it that I was basically smarter, making friends with certain neighbors, you know, both black and white. I see that shit coming. And I made videos about this before, politely in a workplace. I think you get shit starters of both kinds, and then somebody makes a comment on my videos and say, oh yeah, that's what drugs do to you. Oh really? Being smarter and more diplomatic, like, making friends so you don't have to fight with your haters. Oh, that's what drugs do to you. Oh, I didn't know you needed drugs to do that, to be smarter than your haters. But anyway, not to get too off the subject. So I noticed that bad rumors start growing in a town. So being in this charity, I found out I had a knack for it. I can stand the weather. I said, you know what it needs? It needs maybe, hey, little display, Christmas toys. You know, my first displays that weren't really the greatest, you know, and they needed work. But people started liking it, and they liked and then I found that within there were certain one or two didn't like me for some reason, trying to get me bumped off and all that. But there are people that are in it for the hustle or whatever too. They're trying to hustle and get money off of people and gifts and things like that. So I started doing it too. Well, people get jealous, trying to get me bumped off, and you have to watch in a certain town because some people are related. The ones that are your friends, if you deal, the ones that are your friends are related to some of the haters, and if you handle the haters the wrong way, you can lose the friends. And you got to be smarter. Don't take anything to people's teeth, grin, and then act nice later. And so what I was doing, I noticed what the goal was supposed to be. I mean, able to send a message to my haters and friends in the town. Truck coming. And it gets around, and I noticed that security cameras look at everything and start talking to the employees in Walmart I'm next to, help with carts, wave at security cameras, and I say, wait a minute, they give you this little money. It's actually supposed to be lunch money. It's not a paycheck, it's lunch money, called a meal reimbursement. Really, if you bring your own lunch, you don't really need it, right? So, any of you guys watching this, if you got this far, hey, you want to buy that extra Christmas present, you can get like $20 a day working for Salvation Army, right? But nothing wrong with taking it. Dang, truck coming, I have to stay right over here. But anyway, right in front of the people, like I had one other person on the other end of the store, don't know if they're a friend or an enemy to my face, and so I taken money on my own, and people putting it in there, looking at them, looking at the video camera, waving right in front of them, taking money right out of my pocket after we get those pays. And I noticed that people that weren't really my own, they were getting mad at me. Why are you doing that for? And then some people trying to be nice, they're giving you, you know, little money and say, this is for you, and there's camera watching, right? You don't know if they have a hidden camera, really. They're being nice. I always was like that. You guys know me in my videos. I think that everybody can be doing stuff to watch you. And then the video cameras, security cameras in the store, they don't know if that can be your brother, father, and they'll put it online. So I do the opposite, because I always thought that people are out to screw you over, you know, so that you look bad. I mean, so I started gradually, you know. I was one woman ever since I've been there. Me and the girlfriend were been there. She used to be talking in conversation, gossip, all foul-mouthed. Nobody said anything to her, but in a couple years she was eventually gone. But she looked at me one time in the van. We're on our way for a thing. Oh, those stuffed animals that display yours, that ain't nothing special, blah, blah, blah. And she was always talking about me and the girlfriend, like, you know, the way some people talk about you, like you're not there, but say stuff real loud so you hear. and maybe almost like they want you to come and say something which any of you guys watching, I say you don't do. So what I do, and I started doing more things like, I suspected they were in it for a hustle, and people started liking me. My methods, they started liking me better. People were showing up with burgers and fries, people trying to give me money, and I don't believe in taking it. And what I am trying, if you guys get this far in this video, especially if you're a troll or a hater, that you want to make remarks, say you were next to me and some of this is how I would fuck you over and get even with you, but yet I want to make friends doing this, and I want to get even with certain people. I do both at the same time. You know, I go and make friends with the people in the work in the stores when I'm going over to the bathroom, and the employees by there, and people that come up and talk to me because the display I was doing, the conversation piece. I didn't go and say, well, you know, I think these other people that hate my haters are crooked. They even act like they're entitled and everything. I don't go like ratting anybody else. What I do is because like they want to know the secret. While I do things so well, I'll be able to stand the cold and I talk about all kind of things. I said, well, you know that nobody should put their hand out. You should put it right in the kettle. And I know you want to get money gifts. You're not supposed to, because it can get us in trouble, because, you know, security camera will say it, you know. And then I say, conveniently, I start bringing up a certain etiquette. You know, you're not supposed to put your hand. Well, if you do want to drive by and give it to me, I'm supposed to wave my hand right there to the security camera and to you and make sure I'm putting it in, you know. I'm saying things right off the bat, what you should do to show your people extra that, you know, you want to do the right thing, right? So I'm fast forward, I'm there a bunch of years, and now instead I wound up going in the charity. I finished one in I moved to I basically signed up with the district in this town that I did in a local store. So my agenda changed from blocking haters from telling lies about me and / revenge and for the people. It went from that. My agenda was now I didn't need any of that other stuff. No revenge and blocking haters. I was basically introducing myself. The agenda was I only had one agenda, which is a normal agenda, introducing myself to the new people in town. So if any of you guys watching this video, if you're unemployed, whether you worked a good paying job more than me or anything, on a holiday, I recommend you doing this, because say you're not working anyway, go out and stand the cold. And I have a like-hate relationship religion. I hate some of it, but in my belief, it's a virtue to stand out there in front of people in the weather, and then I say I have the right to criticize big religion. The more you're able to do something for a charity for the poor, stand out in the weather, the more right you have to actually criticize religion with fancy airplanes and stuff, if you got this far in this video. And that's what you do. Yeah, I even had a year and a half ago, my haters actually, if you got this far in this video too, another thing, how the haters do, you know, like I told you in other videos, police weren't really that bad. I had one give me a ride to a job I was going to when I locked my bike. My bike actually got locked. I lost the key, and I went by. They had somebody pulled over. I said, just excuse me. I waved that I was there, you know, and I said, yeah, just in case of something, because you hear stories. And they said, oh, fine. Then they caught up with me after they were done and took me over, which was nice of them. But then, you know, like a year and a half ago, I was actually surprised. I guess the haters, told the cops some lies and all that, and I had cops stop me, you know, in a back street, threatening violence if I didn't submit to a pat down, or said I'll knock my effing ass out. Somebody lied and said I was roaming the streets drunk. Yeah, right, I was on my way to the store. And I regarded this as deliberate, because first somebody said something really rotten and talking in pictures. Maybe the cops weren't really that bad of people. They were just being lied to, or maybe cops were somebody's relative a cop, and they were jealous of me. But nonetheless, My thing why it was deliberate, and this is the important part, if you're black or white watching this, if you know anybody in a situation that was both black or white, you should pay attention to this. Okay, my thing about being pat down by the cops in a town, it was not, the town, had a lot of crime at the same time too. A lot of stuff going on, and every once in a while, but usually in the night, not in the dang broad daylight. But what got me is we lived not too far from the police station. The building, I was able to look down on it, from like a fourth-story building. And for like 6 years in a row, me and the girlfriend, and then we're walking by the police station, me with a dolly with puppets and stuffed animals in the box or bag, pulling it with a dolly to display for the kids. I went by that police station and the police station security camera on that block a lot of times. Like, come on, somebody didn't know, somebody couldn't do better recon. You know what I mean? So if any people, no matter where you are, if you're black or white watching this, this is the thing I want you to pay attention to. I say somebody knew damn well, and it was deliberate and blatant, even if a cop was lied to or they got somebody that knew a cop. But yeah, they made me raise my head, check my nose to see if I'm doing cocaine, and they picked my pockets. I regard it as blatant and deliberate because a person doing work was known to do work for charity. Like every time, half of November and all of December, I was walking by from the girlfriend's place I moved in there on the way to the Salvation Army that was a few blocks from that police station. I walked past it. So come on, no, cops are not that stupid, and somebody was either lying to them or some kind of crap. So that added to being that local police being on my revenge list. So you know what I mean. So I went from giving the Salvation Army paycheck to security cameras, which I believe to ensure anything, so nobody tried to get me bumped off. Jealous people started, made an innuendo. Some people, locally seeing the videos, in my town, flaunting it to them and the police and everybody else, say, look, and even in front of any of you guys watching, any of you trolls trying to say, oh, how's it because I have different beliefs than you do to them on drugs or whatever. So that's a little bit of everybody, and at the same time, say your finances ain't any different that time than any other thing. Why? And I'm showing my friends and my haters that I want to get money the right way, but I don't drool over money to where I want to steal it or think I'm entitled to it. And in the organization, some of these people that wanted to get me bumped off, I had leaders that were of color, and I wanted them to be proud of me, and I impressed them. But in my belief, I said standing out in the weather and not drooling over every single dollar like I'm entitled to something. And where there were other people saying, oh, to stand out in the cold like us, we want paid, we want minimum wage. Well, there are some people that really made the effort to be out there. Older, I can't stand the cold, but it's like what they did is there's some of these other ones, you know what you're in for getting into when you go out there. You can either do it or not do it. It's not like it's some big part of your income. And there's a lot of people, like I said too, that can be unemployed for a time. It won't kill them to go out there and even do it for free. They're not doing anything else. It enhances your reputation, resume. So nobody can, and no haters that hate you for some reason can say you're a thief. And you're basically, you're hoping it gets to the authorities and the police, so in case anybody tries to accuse you of something, maybe because you have a ponytail, or maybe if you're of color, listen to this, like if you're kind of like a couple friends I worked with in certain job assignments in my town that are of color, that don't bother anybody. That's a real way to fight prejudice. Don't participate in any bad, violent protests or anything, or let anybody drag you into any kind of crap. But I think the world needs more of that. I always say that to end this video, I remind you that everybody, like this last few months, a few months ago, everybody wants to go on a nice day, both black and white people, raise hell on the streets like in these other cities, but very shortage of people that want to stand out in the cold and raise money for the poor, but they'll sure as hell go out and street on a nice day because they look all badass and pretend to care about racial justice and all that. Yeah, people will go out and do the easy thing, run around the streets and put on their big theater, but very big shortage. Oh, nobody wants to stand out in the cold to raise any money for the poor. Say for poor white kids or for poor black kids. Oh, you don't want to stand out in the cold. They want to stand out in the cold. They want to get paid. They shouldn't do anything for free. But, yeah, they don't want to stand out in the cold to do everything. They want the government to give them everything. They don't want to even... How fucking many people do even want to give anything back? You know what I mean? That's what gets me. I don't care what excuse they make.